Admissions bias is the elephant in the room in a lot of admissions offices. As humans, we all have cognitive biases, but most people don't want to talk about them or admit that they exist. Even more commonly impacting your decisions are situational biases, such as the time of day you met an applicant or what you overheard a colleague say about them. The reality is that bias affects the decision-making abilities of your team, and it leads to unfair admissions decisions. At Kira Talent, we want to help schools make smarter and fairer admissions decisions. We offer a holistic assessment platform that allows you to integrate an interactive timed video and timed written component into your admissions process. Today, I'm going to give you a brief overview on 3 ways we designed Kira to reduce bias in the admissions process. First, we help you establish predefined competencies and evaluation rubrics. These ensure that all of your reviewers are assessing applicants on the same questions and evaluating with the same criteria. Second, Kira makes it easy to get a balance of individual opinions from multiple reviewers. And finally, you're able to review your reviewers to identify trends and patterns in their evaluations. All of us have inherent and subconscious biases, whether we like to admit it or not. Even something as simple as loving dogs can influence your decision-making on applicants who mention their pet dog in an interview. Each new client goes through the consultative Kira onboarding process to select and define core competencies for your program. We work with you to ensure that your reviewers are trained to remove subjective opinions and to be clear on what they're looking for in a given response. By pre-establishing criteria within the competency definitions and rubrics that we create with you, your team will have the tools they need to rate every applicant the same way using the same criteria. Unless there's a checkbox for dog lover, that personality characteristic doesn't have a way to factor into your evaluation. In admissions, having multiple reviewers assess an applicant is mission critical to reducing bias and leveling the playing field for applicants. When an applicant completes a Kira assessment, you can then assign it to multiple reviewers to gather several independent opinions. For smaller teams who don't have the capacity to conduct several interviews with an applicant, this functionality will expand your team's resources to gain a critical extra set of eyes. For larger teams, you can use Kira to divide and conquer your applicant load. To ensure that your reviewers are not biased by one another's opinions, reviewers' ratings and comments are hidden until each review is completed. The last thing I want to share with you is how Kira lets you review your reviewers. At the end of the cycle, you can see your reviewers' overall average scores. Whether on a small team or a large team, this data can be extremely valuable to gain deeper insights into how each member of your team is scoring your applicants. For example, you could identify a reviewer who is giving higher or lower ratings than her colleagues. Or you could find you have a need for more reviewers to reduce burnout among your team. To recap, although bias is not something we can expect to eliminate overnight, by establishing criteria at the start with competencies and rubrics, by getting more sets of eyes on your applicants in an independent and standardized way, and by more proactively reviewing how decisions are made at your school, you can reduce bias and create a fairer and more effective process for your team. Thanks for listening.